In the final year of the American Civil War, a Union ship set sail along the eastern seaboard, full of soldiers, families, and civilians hoping to return home. She was called the General Lyon, a side-wheel steamer repurposed as a troop transport, but many missed the trip. A group of soldiers arrived late and were unable to get back to their families that night. The ship was not turning back to come get them. They were not responsible enough to get there on time, therefore they lost the trip. And something would go on to happen to this ship. But this ship did not become as viral as the Titanic because President Abraham Lincoln had recently died, and that was the viral news report that was the talk of town. What was meant to be a routine voyage became one of the deadliest maritime disasters in U.S. military history. This is the story of the General Lyon and the hundreds of lives lost to a fire, to panic, and a violent sea. The General Lyon was originally a commercial steamship built for cargo and passenger travel, but in 1865, the Union Army had converted her into a transport vessel used to move soldiers, prisoners of war, and freed slaves. On March 30th, 1865, just days before the end of the war, the General Lyon ship left Wilmington, North Carolina, bound for Fort Monroe, Virginia. She was overcrowded, carrying more than 500 people, when those running this ship should have had fewer people on board and should have taken turns going and coming back, bringing people. Yes, more fuel use, but also, yes, a safer trip. Those getting on this ship that day, Union soldiers from Southern hospitals, former Confederate prisoners, refugees, women, and kids. A full cargo of cotton, turpentine, and ammunition. Back then, a woman getting on this ship was unusual. That's why they're pointed out in such a way. But society has evolutionized. So there was dangerous cargo in this wooden ship. And also, an early spring storm was coming its way. But what could go wrong? Everything. On the night of March 31st, as the ship struggled through heavy seas and high winds off the coast of Cape Hatteras, disaster struck. A spark, likely from the engine room or from the cargo shifting in the storm, ignited the barrels of turpentine on board. Within minutes, the flames spread uncontrollably. Panic erupted. The fire moved faster than the crew could respond. The lifeboats were insufficient, and the rough waves made launching nearly impossible. Many passengers were trapped below deck, unable to escape the smoke and flames above them. Others jumped into the sea only to drown in the frigid, storm-churned waters. Of the more than 500 people on board, only 28 survived. So many deaths. That makes the General Lyon one of the deadliest non-combat losses of life during the Civil War. Bodies washed ashore for days along the North Carolina coast. Entire families were lost. That must have been a spooky vacation, going to the beach in North Carolina, wanting to catch some waves, but instead catching floating dead bodies headed to the sand. And yet, the tragedy received only brief headlines, overshadowed by the war's final battles and Lincoln's looming assassination. They did not get the attention they deserved, the victims. There was no great monument, no massive inquiry, just a ship gone, and a scar on the sea, and boring books read in schools. The General Lyon reminds us that not all casualties of war happen during combat, during battle. Some die in silence, in this case, in fire and in waves. Today, the General Lyon lies somewhere beneath the Atlantic, her wreck undiscovered, her passengers largely unnamed. But her story endures as a warning about negligence, overcrowding, and the danger of mixing war cargo with civilian travel. It's also a reminder that in every war, there are forgotten tragedies, moments lost in time, but no less human. Thank you for joining me on Strawberry Ink. To the souls lost aboard the General Lyon. May your story rise like smoke into history, and may your memory be carried on the tide. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and remember the stories history left behind cannot be forgotten within the next generations. Pass it on.